Let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Clock, clock, yeah. Typically new, neon signs glow, brick wall behind me. Headlines loud, but they never define me. They rush the story, skip the proof. I slow it down, let it show the truth. Files on deck, read every line. Timestamps matter, so does time. If it don't fit, I don't force the frame. Ask one question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Read it again. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet, but the pages speak. Word for word, no added spin. Let it stand, yeah. Let that sink in. Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say alleged, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you're in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. And we are pre-gaming for the WSU hearing that is happening today. And I just wanted to explain to everybody. I also pinned it in the chat. So this is not a hearing that we can watch today. It's in the federal courts, but luckily, I think it's the Western District branch of the federal court in Washington. They are participating in a trial type experimental program for public access. So they are allowing individuals to call in. There's a number posted. I saw Jen 7S already linked that in the chat for us. So you can call in and it's supposed to be audio only. So I'm going to be interested. I'm not sure how that's like, we'll just be able to listen. We won't be able to see anything. I'm not sure. Like I've done Zoom calls all the time, but I've always been on the whole Zoom meeting. So my plan is to pregame some information about the lawsuit, starting with what's happening today, and then when it's time for the call-in, I'm going to try to get called in early. I'm going to try that in a few minutes. I don't know how soon they're going to open it up. Has anybody tried yet? Anybody in there? I don't want to get blocked out of it. So you are not allowed to stream any part of it. They said no screenshots, no recordings, you can't put anything about it like online. So I can report about it afterwards. So I'm going to stay on the live I'm going to keep the live going the whole time. I have videos lined up that talk about the lawsuit. So if you guys want to stay in the chat while you're listening, I'll be in the chat. Maybe I'll type some updates that I'm hearing in there for you. So I don't think that's illegal. So I'll update the live chat while I'm listening, play some videos about the lawsuit, and then when the hearing is over, I will come back and give you a recap. So I have no idea how long this live will be today. But I might have to notify my family that dinner might be delayed. If you're listening out there. Yeah. But like I said, we're lucky we get to hear anything. So I'm grateful for that. So the hearing today is my understanding, and Kathy, Kathy at the Kathy's Indie Zone. She's been all over this, and I get my information from her. She knows what she's talking about. I listened to some of her videos, and I don't know about you guys. I can listen to something. I'm more of a visual person. I get more out of things when I read it. When I have to listen to something, I got to hear it multiple times. So wish me luck today listening to this hearing. I will take vigorous notes. I will write down as much as I can. So listening to Kathy explain this lawsuit, I've listened to her same videos a few times, and I always get new information out of it. So my understanding so far is that I believe both parties have said they would be ready to go to trial next June 1st. So June 1st of 2027. I believe that's what I heard. Okay. And so because of that, they have to set a deadline for discovery. So everybody, we know how that goes. Apparently that only applies for the defense, in my opinion, allegedly, in my opinion. So I believe that's one of the things they're going to talk about today is when do both sides have to get all of their discovery turned over. And we want to see that, don't we? We want to see all that discovery. I hope we will get to see it. So, other than that, we're going to listen to Kathy's clip in a minute and get the rest of the information about today. Okay. Before we get into that, I wanted to address some things from Saturday night. If you were on the verdict room, we had Travis T. Logic as our guest, and he did a fabulous job. He's a statement analyst. I believe that's the correct title for what he does. We listen to these interviews, and I mostly listen for content. What's the person saying? He listens to it for what are they like? How are they talking? What are they saying that's important to them? Are they truthful? He picks up, he knows what certain clue words, I'll just call them clue words, keywords, when someone's talking, how they talk, what they're saying, what it means. And so he was analyzing the night we asked him if he would analyze the 911 call. And we know Bethany's on the phone first. And then we had a big debate in the chat. If you guys are in there, let me know. Who does Bethany hand the phone to? Does she hand it to Emily or does she hand it to Josie? And I always thought it was Emily. I don't know why I thought that, but I always thought it was Josie. And everybody in the chat was like, it sounds like Josie. It sounds like Josie. It sounds like Josie. And I'm, who it sounds like is up for interpretation, right? So I asked the chat, like, hey, please let me know where you got that from, right? So somebody, I cannot remember who did, sent me an article Oh, yeah, I'm going to blow your minds, Michelle and Roe. I'm going to blow your minds. Thanks, Jen, for putting Travis's link. If you have not subscribed to Travis, we're trying to get him to 1,000. He's wonderful. Go watch his videos later. The article that was sent to me was from the Today Show, and it was a printed article, but they had interviewed Josie on the Today Show. So she was quoted in the article saying that she was on the call. Okay. Every document, you guys, I was going through the reports, like the interview reports, the court documents. When the defense talks about this situation, it's Emily. It's Emily in the documents. So why do we have a contradiction? Why do we have a witness? Why do we have a witness, a first responder? I'm calling them first responders because they were the first ones there. Why do we have a witness on the scene claiming she was the one on the phone, but then in the court documents, it's saying Emily? The documents are wrong. So I have all that stuff saved. I don't have it organized or ready to present yet. I am going to I want to use tomorrow to make videos. I have so many things in this case that I just want to just address one issue. And so I want to do them in just videos and not on a live, but I need time to do that. It takes so much time, you guys, to record yourself, have all the documents that you want lined up, ready to respond to, or whatever you're doing. And then you have to edit it and all that stuff. So it's hard for me to, if you're on here making content, you understand. If you don't, please understand. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. So that's one of the topics that I'm going to make an interview or a video about, the Emily versus Josie caller person on the 911. And I'll see what we can vet out, what I can vet out about that. But that should not be an issue. There's so many things in this case that I'm like, that shouldn't be controversial. Like, do we believe Josie? Like, we can't hear Josie's interview. So why did they block out Josie's interview? Was she really on? Why don't they want us to know she was I don't know. Is it an issue? Something to think about. Let me see what you guys are saying. Lost Faith 5. Hello. Well, I truly thought that Dylan was on the phone call, not Bethany. So I don't know where I got that from. Yeah, Dylan does get on the call, but she's like the third person. She's the third person that gets on. We should listen to their voices. Maybe I'll do that when I do my video. That might be interesting. Although it'll be good luck for me trying to find Josie's voice. They won't let us hear her in her interview. Who says Dylan made the call? Someone says Dylan made the call. It's Josie with Emily's voice. That's a good one, Michelle. Witchy says the documents are wrong. You never know. I don't know. Let's see. So many contradictions, coincidences, and what was the other C word I said? Convolutedness. If that's not a word, I made it up. Tony. Nope. I'm a one-man band over here. I do everything myself. And I enjoy it. I'm not complaining about it. I enjoy doing it. It's a way to be creative. I like to be creative. So it's just reality that it takes time, right? Is there another hearing? The WSU hearing today is, you have to call into it. I cannot stream it. So if you want to back up about maybe 5 minutes, I explained my plan for today. Oh, yeah. There's a court document with the full 911 transcript. Maybe that's what I looked at. All right. Other interesting items that I want to make videos about. So got to go to the book. On page. I know not everything in this book is 100% accurate. There are some inconsistencies in the book also. However, on page 218, it says, and this is Whitcomb, I believe, his words, and open your eyes, peeps. If that, let me see. In the court doc transcript, it specifies speakers on the call, DM female speaker and Hunter Johnson. Yeah. Who does it say is the second caller? Open your eyes, peeps. Does it say? Are you looking at it right now? Page 218 says, if we go simply by Lake's report, and this is after he interviewed Bethany, I believe. Yes, he's talking about Bethany. He seemingly had no interest in Bethany's possible connections to Washington State, the town of Pullman, or any of Kohberger's known associates. What? Who does know that? Who knows that? Bethany has possible connections to Washington State, the town of Pullman, or possibly Kohberger's known associates. That's in the book. It doesn't say who knows that, but he's implying someone does. It goes on to say he did not ask about a pool party. There we go to that pool party again, you guys, where it was alleged that Kohberger might have interacted with one of the victims. Now, we heard that, and there's never, ever, ever, ever been a connection that we know of. Lake did not indicate why he accepted a 2-sentence email from Funka, I'm not saying that, from Bethany's attorney without requesting face-to-face comment. Okay, so then he says Lake just wrote, no additional information was required. So this was when Bethany was refusing to come back to the state, right, and talk. But it's interesting that he's talking about a connection to Washington State University, the town of Pullman, and the people, Kohberger's known associates. Is that someone in the criminal justice program? Is it someone in his apartment building? I mean, I don't think Bryan had many known associates, but I did find some documents in the Idaho State reports that had some information about Bryan's possible associates. There was I don't know if it was a bar. It mentioned a place where he hung out, where he went to. So I got a few leads that I want to dive into. So I'm just giving you guys a little preview of some of the topics I'm going to cover in my videos for tomorrow. One other thing was a fraternity. I read this report. There's a fraternity. So I'll give you three. Give you three of these interesting little tidbits. The first one is Josie versus Emily on the 911 call. The second one is Bethany has possible connections to WSU and maybe someone that knows Bryan. Yeah, the tattooed biker guy. I don't know, Tony. I don't know. Can you see Bethany and the tattooed biker guy? Oh my goodness. You never know. You never know. The third one is, don't lose your train of thought, Kim. It was a fraternity. The night of the murders on November 12th, 2022, they had a themed party, and I believe it required costumes, and someone called it in as a tip. They went to Lewiston that night. And I thought, wonder if they drive a white car. I don't know. So these guys from this fraternity, they were out and about. They were partying. I haven't narrowed down which fraternity it is yet, but I don't think it'll be hard to. And I want to dive into that. So, all right. So let's talk about WSU. Oh, let me try something, you guys. It's 11:59. I'm putting my earpiece in. I'm going to call and see if I can get into this call and just have it on, be in there. Because I don't know when they're going to open it up. And I want to say, I saw this before I started the show. Blue-Eyed Butterfly has been a member for 3 months. All right. Happy anniversary. Happy peep anniversary. So happy to have you in this community. All right, Jen, where did you put? I'm just looking up here for the number. I have it screenshotted, but there it is. All right, let's see. So I got to close that. And my phone is good and charged. That's good. And I'll tell you how this goes. All right. 2545. Whoops. Don't mess the numbers up. Oh, I'm glad I'm doing it now because I don't know if I have the. You guys, Jen, look at the link you posted for this. So it says what you posted. I can't share it. I can't share it. It says dial 669-254525. That's not a phone number. Then it says enter ID code 165-853-9487. That seems like a phone number. Are they backwards? Because when I called the number, it didn't work. What are you guys saying? Sorry, whistling in your ear. Oh, Jen published it again. So I'm going to try the other one. I'm going to try the code. Okay. No. You guys, it's missing a digit. Like, what is going on? Is it 1-669-254? Oh my goodness. We are missing a digit. Let me check my screenshot. Let me check my screenshot. Nope. All right, I'm going to do this. 1-165-853-9487. Let's see if it works now. Nope. Do I have to go to Zoom? Let me get the Zoom app. So I'm starting early. I'm not being the last minute queen, you guys. I'm usually the last minute queen. Let me get my Zoom app added back to my phone. While I'm doing this, we'll go ahead and listen to Kathy over at Indie Zone, Kathy's Indie Zone, and she's going to explain more details about today, okay? And then I'll let you know if I ever get on this call. Again, this is Kathy's Indie Zone. If you are not subscribed to her channel, make sure you subscribe and watch her videos. She is excellent information.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. The United States District Court, Western District of Washington, included a notice on their website that the matter styled as Gonzalez et al. Versus Washington State University has been scheduled for the first hearing in this case to occur Monday at 10 a.m. That is Pacific time. This proceeding will be entertained by Judge Kimberly K. Evanson. She was assigned to this case shortly after the defendants, WSU, removed the case from state court where the plaintiffs had filed it in the state of Washington to federal court. Judge Evanson, back in the middle of April of this year, entered an order which required the parties to get together to meet and to confer and to come up with a proposed scheduling report that included, amongst other things, key events in the case and deadlines for when those events could occur in pretrial. For example, we anticipate both sides will engage in very assertive discovery. Discovery is controlled by the federal rules of civil procedure. At some point, discovery would need to end, and then the matter would be heading toward trial. The parties have put a proposed discovery cutoff date in their report, along with proposed dates for numerous other matters controlled by the federal rules of civil procedure. Parties have also stated that they would be ready for trial in this matter by jury June 1st, 2027. They want 20 days of a jury trial. In the scheduling report, which was filed with the court May 26th, that was the deadline set by Judge Evanson's order of.
That's the other important piece of information, that when they do go to trial, it's not going to be till next year. It's supposed to last for 20 days. 20 days for this. I think that's a lot.
April of 2026. Now, once that was issued, it put into play the need for a status conference. This is a pretrial case management conference that will be conducted Monday, June 1st at 10 a.m. So if you will be a member of the public that will be observing these proceedings, which the court is allowing that, this is something rare in federal court. But as we had previously reported, the Western District of Washington is a participant in a cameras in the courtroom program in federal court that a handful of courts have engaged in. There may be a larger rollout at some point in future, depending on how this pilot program goes. There is information on the court's website, a link to which I've included in the description to this podcast episode, that confirms Judge Evanson will be presiding. It gives the case number, it gives the hearing type as a status conference, and it also says that this will not be an in-person proceeding where the attorneys will be going down to the courthouse. This is done via Zoom only. There's public access dial-in information that's provided here as well. There's also a disclaimer that if you are going to be a public observer, I recommend, please, that you read it. It says, no part of the proceeding may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, in whole or in part, by any participant or public observer. This prohibition includes any audio or video recording, photographs, and or screenshots. Now, once this hearing happens, we are expecting that Judge Evanson will be issuing the scheduling order. All of the information that was in the party scheduling report, not set in stone. There's no guarantee that this trial will begin on June 1st of 2027 when the parties have said that they will be ready to go to trial. It will be the time that Judge Evanson designates, as well as all of the other key deadlines that will happen in pre-trial, such as discovery. We are anticipating that based on the very aggressive positions both parties have taken, that discovery is going to be a
Oh, thank you for that. Is that one can, Leanne? Thank you so much for contributing to our FOIAs. We've got the one in for Brent Turvey, and that's another thing I need to do. I got to call them because I have heard nothing back from them. So I put it in through Ada County. I will post just so you guys know, I want to be up and let you know that like I did put this stuff in. I'll let you see the request that I sent in. I need to call them, see what's going on. I haven't even gotten like a no. And then, I started looking up this morning. I am putting in for Kayla. I don't know if it's Kayla or Kaylee, but McConkey. I want hers, even though she was in Boise. I feel like I just feel like she knew stuff. So yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. One towards our goal. One towards our goal. And I appreciate all of your donations. Yes, if we get the go ahead for one of these FOIAs, I will let you know the amount that they say. We don't have that yet. So I also am so thankful for donations just towards the channel to help keep everything going and working over here. Never expected, but greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. All right. So I'm trying the Zoom app. When you're in the Zoom app, all you have to do is put in the meeting ID. So let me get back to that meeting ID. And we had a gifted membership. When can Leanne? Who got that membership? Who got that membership? Oh, I think I can look here. No. That went to, oh my goodness, Brooke. I miss Brooke so much. Brooke, 1991, Pav Lana Press. She loves her some Pav and Lana. I do too. I can't blame her. We miss her though. Maybe she'll see the notification and come visit us. Thank you for that one, Can Leanne. You guys are the best. All right, I'm bouncing around here trying to look for that code. Let me just go to my screenshots. All right. 165853. I should just write it down. That would be the smartest thing to do. The code is 165-853-9487. All right. We're doing this live, you guys. We're doing this live. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Where'd my app go? Zoom right there. Okay. 165-853-9487. Join. Passcode. Do we have a passcode? Dead air. Dead air. Is this over? Nope. Keep going with the video.
Abundant, but there will be a date for discovery cutoff when all discovery must come to an end. And the parties have given their recommendation, but it will be in this forthcoming scheduling order signed by Judge Evanson that will then be the blueprint for the case and that will contain the deadlines that these parties need to be very, very aware of. We will continue to keep you posted as to further developments. So please stay tuned to the Indie Zone for updates on Gonzalez et al. Versus Washington State University. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.
Defendant entered the residence, went to the third floor, and with a knife, killed Madison Mogan and Caitlin Gonzalez. He encountered.
Oh, we don't want to watch that. We don't want to watch that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
All right. Let me take that down for a minute. You guys are just going to have to bear with me. This is not cooperating. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll keep trying. Meeting ID. Okay, so I put in the right ID. 165-853-9487. So then what's the passcode? It must be this one. Oh, wait. Do I have to get a passcode off my phone? I know what that is now. Passwords. Let me see if it shows up. Nope. Oh, wait. It's refreshing. Technology, you guys. Technology. I also have the original complaint. That, oh no, that's their answer. Let me get the complaint. This one, nope. All right, we can close that. This one. Oh my word. All right, that didn't work. Let me type in the code that Jen has in the passcode. Six 9 2 5 4 5 2 5 4 5 2 5. Continue. See if this works. Incorrect passcode. You guys, they don't want us to get in there. They don't want us to get in there. What am I doing? All right, let's figure this out. I'm going to share my screen and show you what I'm going to do, okay? Let me remove this, stop screen, and I'm going to share. We'll go to I need a Google. You think you're prepared. Like, we have the number that they posted on their site. I wonder if they changed it. So let me go to Kathy's. Let's check out Kathy's site and see if she has an update. She probably
Ladies and
has it
gentlemen, welcome back to
linked in here. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Can you see this? Yes. Okay. So this is the Washington State red flag. Try 5252 for just the code is 5252. Are you guessing, or did you get that from somewhere, Jen? You're not having luck either. All right, we'll figure it out. Okay, so we're on the website. Let me see. Where'd it go? You guys can see it. I can't see it. This? Okay. Public access. Okay, let me refresh it. Dial 669. Let me just try it on my phone and not the Zoom thing. Let me just try it on my phone again. Okay, I'm dialing. I got to do a 1. 669 254. It's missing a digit. That is not a phone number. That is not a phone number. $669. Unless it's just not open yet. 669-2545. 25. Nope. All right. So maybe join meeting ID. Done. If you received an invitation, tap on the link. Join options. Don't connect to audio. Turn off my video. I just think maybe it's not started yet. Thanks for hanging with me, you guys. I'm sorry. I just need a passcode. The code is 165-853-9487. It says code, ID code. I just think they haven't opened the meeting yet. 853. If this doesn't work, I'm going to hold off for a little bit. 9487. 9487. Continue. Nope. All right. What are you guys saying? The phone number needs a 2. The code is correct. Yeah. Yep. We'll wait. Okay. So in the meantime, let's go over here. And I'm going to go to my drive. And I made a folder for WSU. And we want this one. So I have not read through this myself yet. Oh, I don't want the defendant's response. I want the complaint. So the lawsuit is, make sure you can see it. Make it nice and big. What is what are the parents saying, right? Now, I've heard other people talk about this. Basically, the parents are saying that there were lots of red flags about Bryan Kohberger when he was a student at Washington State University. Complaints filed by female students. Like, we know all those things, right? We've heard about all those things. So, and they're saying because of that, if Bryan would, if WSU would have handled things differently, possibly Bryan Kohberger could have been kicked out of school. Maybe he would have went back to Pennsylvania. Maybe he would have been arrested for something, like something that WSU could have done to thwart Bryan Kohberger, that they are saying, because he pled guilty, to stop the crime from happening in the first place. Okay. Yeah, enabled. I don't think that enabled him by not addressing any of the complaints, I think. So that's it in a nutshell. So here's the complaint. We're going to look at the original complaint. What are the parents saying? The response, WSU responded. Okay. And if you look at that one, it is just paragraph by paragraph. All they say is, we acknowledge that Bryan Kohberger is guilty of the murders, but we deny any responsibility, is basically every single complaint against them. They're just denying it. Okay. The G's interview at CrimeCon was wild. Yeah, I know. I saw that last night. Hey, Jessie Locks. Hi, Mama's boy. Hi, Itty Bitty Poof. Song of the Siren, Jenna. Hello. William Tardy, it's good to see you. From what I understand, you can listen as a guest. Yeah, William, if you're still in here, I think the Zoom meeting must not be open yet because I couldn't get into it yet. I tried. I didn't want to wait till the last minute because I'm afraid like they're only going to allow so many people or something like that. Who knows? All right, which doc? This one. Okay, so for starting at the beginning, they have an introduction, and they just go over the case, right? That Bryan was a student in the criminal justice criminology department. He was working on his PhD. His background, where Pullman is close to Idaho, and almost immediately upon his arrival to the Pullman Moscow community, Kohberger developed a reputation for discriminatory, harassing, and stalking behavior, instilling substantial fear among young female students and fellow WS employees, necessitating regular security escorts for multiple females. Despite receiving at least 13 formal reports of Kohberger's inappropriate, predatory, and menacing behavior, WSU failed to respond in any meaningful way and allowed Kohberger's escalating behavior to continue unchecked. One of the reasons I never dug into this, because as soon as I read that part, I'm like, okay, the families are going to have to prove that they have paperwork, a paper trail, evidence for these 13 complaints, right? So they're going to have to prove that. If those don't exist, then the people that said they complained aren't going to have, then you can't use that, right? So that's going to be the first issue. So into the discovery, you would think they're going to have to turn over these complaints. Okay. They're supposed to be filed. So that's going to be the family's case that they're going to have to prove. The defense then, WSU, if they have a paper trail of complaints being filed and they did not follow their proper procedure in handling them, they're going to have an issue. I don't know if it's going to be enough of an issue to say you're liable for these murders, but it's going to be like a check towards that. I mean, if you have complaints about somebody and you don't do anything about it, and WSU has a history, with their officers. I believe there were complaints against them, and they just looked the other way. That's why the higher ups, law enforcement, got let go or retired early or whatever they did because they got in trouble. Right. So this point right here, let me jot this down. Point number 1, that there were 13 complaints against Bryan. And for the prosecution, they're going to have to prove they exist. And for the defense, they're going to have to prove that they followed the correct protocol. Jen, I know. I was thinking about that today. I want to look that up. Jen says, I already take issue with their lawsuit claiming autistic people are upcoming serial killers. Yeah, I know. I want to look into that. I want to see what how is that looked at? How is a diagnosis of autism handled in the courts? Because it doesn't affect your intelligence. I've had to deal with I'll just keep myself out of it. If it doesn't affect your intelligence, so right from wrong. So other tendencies that you have with autism, I don't know if that's I'm thinking of it as in terms of a defense for leniency, for more of an understanding of circumstances. Yeah, I don't know if it requires that. I think it's more about requiring more adaptations, or what did we always call them? Making things accessible in different ways to meet their needs, things like that. Oh, One Can Leanne, thank you for sharing. I have loved ones that are also on the spectrum also, and all it requires is some understanding. Yeah. Yep. It's such a spectrum too. Such a spectrum. Okay, so where are we at with time? It's 12:30. Okay, so that's claim number 1. So then they go into the crime. They're saying he claimed the Before WSU brought Kohberger to the Pullman Moscow community, he had a history of, so now they're gonna say, you didn't do a background check on this person, right? Is that what they're gonna say now? Hi, Paco Jewel. Oh, it's possible. Has it ever happened? I don't know. I would assume maybe undiagnosed. It doesn't always get diagnosed. All right. So they're going to say his background. He had a history of heroin addiction. He had been arrested for theft. They're talking about his sister's phone when he was a teenager. Had made numerous posts over a period of years on public online forums commenting about his inability to feel emotion and crazy thoughts. He had been removed from a vocational program in high school because of problems with women. And later, local business owners had become so alarmed at his behavior toward young women that staff kept electronic notes about him to warn female staff when he arrived. He also had pursued a graduate degree in criminology, where he demonstrated a particular fascination with serial killers. Okay, so it looks like their second claim is like, you didn't look into his background. Then they go on to say, as soon as he got to Moscow, he was demonstrating antisocial, disturbing, menacing behaviors. And then they're giving examples. Now, if this is hearsay or it's not documented in an official complaint, like people might already know this. I'm sure Kathy's Indie Zone might have addressed this. Not an expert over here, but there are students that left their door open because they were afraid Bryan was going to do something inappropriate. She thought he was like a stalker type. Based on how Kohberger talked to and treated women, another fellow graduate student described him as a, oh my God, possible future sexual assaulter. All right. So these are statements made. They can go on the record for the prosecution, but I would think they would this needs to be documented somehow in the original complaints by these women back in 2022, right? It would have been like the summer of 2022, fall of 2022 for these to stand up. So they're giving all these examples of what they're saying about his behaviors. Okay. So that's the claim by the prosecution. The defense is going to have to come back. WSU is going to have to come back and either say, none of these women told us about that, if they don't have it, or yes, we have these complaints on file and here's how we handled them. Right. Jesse locks. Bryan had to have background. Yeah, I've heard people talking about needing to have background checks. Paco Jewel, do you remember? Oh, how many of you remember this one? I forgot about this. I believe there was a BBC reporter, someone from overseas, from Europe, I think from Europe or Australia, who supposedly interviewed a woman that was supposed to have lived somewhere over by 1122, and that Bryan would visit over there. Anybody remember that? I got to look into that. Michelle, you got some information. It is definitely true that Josie and Emily were what? Tell me more, Michelle. Where is that at? Thank you for that. Wow. The Daily Mail? Ooh, I got to go look for that. Now, Emily was in a dental field, right? No, is that Josie? Because I've been following Josie. Or is it Emily? They're both on TikTok now. I got to go look for that. We got to do a live dive. Anybody want to go try to find that article, Daily Mail, about Emily and Josie? MPD 312. Oh my God. We're pulling that up right now. Thanks, Blue Devil. Oh, she said, is it? She said, is it? Oh, is it definitely true? Words matter, you guys. Words matter. Not it is definitely. Is it? Is it? Is it? Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hey, Danielle Tudd. Danielle Tuds. Hello. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. Let's look that up right now, though, you guys. I have all the docs. You said 312. So I'll go right to my Moscow documents. Look at this crazy drive I have. Idaho 4. Right there. Moscow. All right, 312. Just in case you didn't see what I said earlier, there were allegations against Bryan. The school looked into it and it was unfounded. They were afraid that Bryan was going to the school. They were afraid that Bryan was going, just in case. There were allegations against Bryan. The school looked into it and it was unfounded. I understand what you're saying, Jessie Lynn. I don't get the last sentence. They were afraid that Bryan was going to the school. Paco Jewel, I agree 1000%. That is my theory. That is my theory. I have it all written out and everything for Bryan. Sorry if I'm misinterpreting thing. Oh, sue the school. Sue the school. Yeah. Got you guys. Thank you. Oh man, it's so hard over here. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, back to the reports. What am I looking at here? Not that one. This one. 312. Let's look at this. Make it bigger. This is Dustin Blaker. Okay, on May 22nd, I received an email from prosecutor Bill Thompson with a request for contact from a L.A. L wanted to report her daughter, EA, and one of her friends, AN, saw photos of them on Dateline from the latest special in reference to the Moscow murders. AN. Open your eyes, peeps. Is that Jeff? You can try using your regular account. I think I cleared that issue up. Okay, so Emily's mom called and they saw photos of them on Dateline from the latest special in reference to the Moscow murders. This is 2020. This is last May, a year ago. I contacted Elle on May 22nd, 2025, and she responded and stated she would be available on May 23rd, 2025, but I was not able to contact her on that date. On May 29th, 2025, I called Elle and spoke to her by phone. Elle told me her daughter, E, watched the Dateline special, and when they were talking about photos of WSU students on Bryan Kohberger identify several of the photos of her and one of her friends. On Bryan's phone? As being photos reported to have been found. I asked L if I could talk to E, and she provided E her phone. E told me the following. E was a student at WSU in the fall of 2022. And what this cannot be Emily. This has to be somebody else. What's Emily's mom's name? That should be an easy find. I wonder what Emily's mom's name is. E was a student at WSU in the fall of 2022 and was in a class where Kohberger was the teacher's assistant. E was in a class with her friend A. A was interviewed by ISP Detective Jacob Schwecke on March. Okay, so we can find that interview. We're just doing a live investigation over here, you guys. Let me write this down. Jacob Schwecke, that last name. CKE. March 2nd, 23 was the interview, and it's ISP. Okay. E told me she had never talked to Kohberger during the class, but he did sit in close proximity to her on the rare occasions he would attend class. E told me she thought Kohberger was socially awkward, but was not able to provide me any other information about him. I asked E how she knew the photos were of her and A. E told me she watched the Dateline episode and she was able to tell the photos, which she believed had been taken off of her Instagram account. E told me during 2022, her account was public, and this was possibly how Kohberger found her photos. E was not able to provide me any other information related to this case. Wow. Interesting. Jeff. Welcome, Jeff. This is interesting. We got to figure out who this is. So I got to find out Emily's mom's first name, but I don't think it's Emily because this is someone who went to WSU. But I'm telling you, I'm trying to find out this Bethany WSU connection. Oh, Michelle, I saved that. I found a short video that shows Bethany's picture. I did. Can I play it for you guys? Let me see. Oh, in here. Let me go to my playlist because I saved it. I'm going to try to get into that call again because it's a quarter till. Okay. Oh, no, I put it as a link. I'll come back to the, I do have that picture of Bethany that I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to try to get into this call again one more time. So let me see what videos I had lined up today. Oh, here's an interesting one by Kathy's Indie Zone. This is her explaining if Bryan could be deposed in this lawsuit, okay?
The Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. As we had reported to you, the court in the federal case of Gonzalez et al. Versus Washington State University back on April 14th ordered the parties to meet and confer through council and to put together a joint scheduling report to be filed on or before the hard deadline of May 26th, 2026. And as we also reported to you, that joint scheduling report was filed on the 26th on its due date. There's been conversation in the general public ever since it was stated that Mr. Kohberger was listed by one of the parties as a potential witness in this case. So now that the scheduling report, where the parties are asking that trial be set June 1st, 2027, approximately, discovery cutoff to occur just before then, many are wondering, will Mr. Kohberger be set for a deposition as a non-party? The answer appears to be there is a possibility that that will happen. Not only was he named as a possible witness already, but we know also by looking at the complaint and the answer and affirmative defenses that both sides referenced Mr. Kohberger in their respective pleadings. And then in yesterday's status report that was filed jointly by the parties, Mr. Kohberger is once again very prominently discussed here. Indeed, one needs to go no further than page 1 of this 10-page document to see that the parties have stated under a statement of the nature and complexity of the case that this civil action arises out of the unalivings of 4 University of Idaho students on November 13th, 2022 by Bryan Kohberger. And at the time of these unalivings, Mr. Kohberger was a graduate student and teaching assistant at Washington State University. And it also states that he was attending class at WSU's Criminal Justice and Criminology Department. So then the question is, how would they go about, one or the other party, setting Mr. Kohberger's deposition? Well, the setting of a deposition in federal courts are governed by the federal rules of civil procedure, specifically Rule 20, deposition by oral examination. And per this rule, it states that any party may ask oral questions and depose any person that is a party or a non-party. So do expect that the plaintiffs will likely be noticing the depositions of representatives of Washington State University. And by the same token, WSU will likely be noticing the plaintiff's depositions. But with regard to a non-party, the deposition of Mr. Kohberger would be different than the deposition of other non-parties that this joint status report stated. There are going to be numerous non-party depositions that are expected. With Mr. Kohberger, there's the issue that this would be an out-of-state proceeding because this action is in the federal court in Washington. Mr. Kohberger is housed at the prison in Idaho, just outside of Boise. There would be additional extra hoops that would need to be gone through. The warden would need to be involved. So there are other procedures that govern when a party is seeking to take a deposition of an incarcerated person. Bottom line is that, yes, it's possible that Mr. Kohberger's deposition will be set at some point in future. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.
Are a dime a dozen. They've overrated themselves. These parents are critical. You don't have these human beings without them. Judges.
I was listening to that earlier. That got me all pumped up for the show. I'm going to check out some other, see if anybody else is getting into this. So Jules is trying. 5252. I think you're right, Jen, about 5252. All right. I'm getting into this thing. I got to get into this thing. Okay. I got that. Phone. Sorry, guys. Oh, you got to press pound. All right. I'm trying to get in. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let me do this. Zoom. Join. Sorry, guys. I hate dead air, but I got to try this. Just pound, she said. Pound. I cannot get in. I cannot get in. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. All right, I'm going to try this again. Oh, she said call this. Okay. 1669 254 5252. It's 5252. Okay. I think I'm getting in, you guys. 165. And then I'll tell you what I did. 853 9487. Followed by pound. Okay, I'm muted on the call. I got in. I got in. Do you guys want to know how to get in? All right. So here's what I did. The phone number is 669. You have to do 1 669 1 669 254 5252. Okay, that's the phone number. They're starting. Okay, so someone just came on, and every time someone joins, I hear a ding dong sound, and it's in my ear. So someone came on and said there's lots of callers on the line, and if anybody is an attorney, they needed to actually join in the video. So okay, call the number Then it will ask you for the code. The code is 165-853-9487. Pound. It'll tell you to hit pound. And then it'll ask for another like passcode. And all you have to do is hit pound again. And you'll get in. So again, I am going to just play videos that have to do with WSU lawsuit or other topics, and I will be here, but I got to focus and take notes. So I will probably be in and out, okay? But I will be in the chat. I will type in the chat. Because I can't talk, like I'm listening right now to them. I can't listen and talk, but I'll be in the chat, okay? I'll post updates in the chat. Can you type the PIN instructions for us? Call. One 669 254 5252. Enter 165 853 9487. Press pound, then pound for the password. All right, there's the instructions that I typed out, okay? You call the phone number. It'll ask you for an ID code. You type that in. After you type in that ID code, you press pound after it. And then it's going to ask for another code, and you don't have to put it in. You just press pound, okay? And all you got to do is mute your volume. All right, guys, I'm going to listen and take notes, and I'll be updating you in the stream. Let's do... Wait, I wrote down what I wanted to play. Where's it at? Right here. Where did I write it at? Court TV. The Court TV one. Let's find it. Right there.
University, the school where killer Bryan Kohberger studied criminology as a PhD student. They want to know about Kohberger's past behaviors towards some people at the university, some of which included stalking women and being rude to students as a teaching assistant. Washington State University is only about 7 miles away from the University of Idaho, and that is where, of course, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Cornoto, and Ethan Chapin were stabbed to death inside of their off-campus home just a little more than 3 years ago. Goncalves turned the podium at Kohberger's sentencing and spoke directly to the killer.
The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but 2 initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to Penn. That will be today or tomorrow.
Of course, that was Steve Gonzalez, Kaylee's father. Bryan Kohberger serving 4 consecutive life sentences, and he owes money and fines and restitution to the victims' families. So what does the Gonzalez family hope to achieve with their lawsuit? Let's talk about it with our legal analyst guests, David Bruno and Joe Tamburino with us. David, your thoughts on the filing of this suit and what it hopes to achieve?
When I first heard about this, I was like, oh, how can that be stretched to Washington State? Then I started to read the documents that we recently got released after. And Court TV has a great piece on this too, about the complaints that Washington State got from, there's 13 complaints there from professors and students about his behavior and concerning behavior. So there is a leg to stand on here moving forward. And if they can get past the motion to dismiss, the early motions that defendants typically file, they're going to be able to get information through discovery, interrogatories, depositions, notice to producers. They may get some answers that we never got from the prosecution because of the plea deal that cut the death penalty off the table, which I think we're all critical of still.
Definitely, David. The school we know did fire Kohberger for some behavioral problems when he was a teaching assistant. Joe, your thoughts on whether this lawsuit will have legs?
I think it could have legs. I mean, in any lawsuit, it's basically you need this. First, you need notice so that the person who's the defendant in the case, the person who you're suing, was on notice that something is wrong, say. Then you need a failure to act, that they didn't act on this. And next, you need that it's all based on negligence. So through discovery, as David mentioned, if you can show that the university was on notice that this guy has violent tendencies, hates women, some type of, violent problems, and the university failed to act based on their negligence, yes, it could have legs. The big thing is going to be the summary judgment motion. I mean, I think the school is going to do 2 motions. One is they'll make a motion to dismiss the complaint just like that. I think that'll fail. But then they'll go through a discovery process, and then they'll try to do a summary judgment motion, meaning that the defendant is going to say, look, regardless of what the discovery shows, there's no claim here, Judge. So if it makes it past summary judgment, yes, this definitely has legs.
I appreciate that analysis, Joe. So thinking about Kohberger, I think a lot of us think, were there red flags that might have been missed? I think we all say, hindsight's 20/20, right? But is there something just that may be a bit satisfying about just kind of looking back and seeing, was there anything that was missed with him that could have been a preventative factor here? David, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. I mean, he was a PhD student studying there. He was a teacher's assistant as well. I mean, he had responsibility and authority within those circles as well. So that makes it even more puzzling, the sheer violence that was used and the studying of this. We have to look back on this. We have to learn from this. We have to look at all of these curriculums and all these students. And I think every single one of the curriculums all across the country should at least have some awareness to the fact that it may be someone trying to learn criminology for the wrong reasons.
I appreciate it, David. Apparently, there was even a tally board in a student office that was being used to track Kohberger's discriminatory comments. And some female students avoided being alone with him. So they're tracking, the things he's saying and all that. It tells me he was on people's radars. Joe, final thoughts on this and whether we'll learn more than we do right now.
Well, what you just said is the crucial point, which is on the radar, but on the radar for what? If this was some type of sexual discrimination case or something like that, yes, I would say right now it's got excellent legs, because you got all these complaints about how Kohberger, may have made some sexist or racial comments. So yes, with something like that. But was it on the radar for homicide? for murder, for use of a dangerous weapon. That's going to be the crucial issue. So, I mean, I think it's important for the victims to do this suit. I can totally understand why, but I do think it's going to be an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. We, of course, as always, send every good wish to the Gonsalves family and all of the families of those victims of this atrocious conduct. And we'll keep watching it as the suit progresses.
The families of the 4 University of Idaho students who were murdered in a horrific November 2022 attack have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Washington State University, claiming that the school where Bryan Kohberger was both a PhD student and teaching assistant knew about his disturbing behavior and didn't do enough to address it. The explosive lawsuit, which comes 6 months after Kohberger was sentenced to life for the murders of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, further claims that their deaths were preventable if WSU properly responded to his, quote, inappropriate, predatory, and menacing behavior. The lawsuit alleges that almost immediately after Kohberger arrived on campus, he began displaying a pattern of concerning behavior. The suit claims one grad student described him as a stalker, and another characterized him as a, quote, possible future rapist. According to the lawsuit, at least 13 complaints were lodged against Kohberger in the university's Compliance and Civil Rights Office, but the person in charge of dealing with those complaints never even reached out to him. The legal team for the families said in a statement that, quote, this effort is not about vengeance or speculation. This is about ensuring that institutions entrusted with the safety of young people take threats seriously and act decisively when warning signs are present. Criminal defense attorney John W. Day joins Forbes True Crime to break down all the lawsuit's shocking allegations. Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, one of the hosts of Forbes True Crime. Joining me now is criminal defense attorney John W. Day. John, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me, Brittany.
The families of the 4 University of Idaho students who were brutally murdered by Bryan Kohberger in November of 2022 all teamed up to file a wrongful death lawsuit against Washington State University. And this is the school where Kohberger was both a teaching assistant as well as PhD student. And the 126-page lawsuit just contains bombshell after bombshell. The suit alleges that despite the university receiving over a dozen formal complaints about his predatory behavior, quote, WSU failed to respond in any meaningful way and allowed Kohberger's escalating behavior to continue unchecked. It also alleges that the deaths of Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle wouldn't have happened if WSU acted appropriately. And there is certainly a lot in here, which we'll all get into. But start off the conversation, what's your initial reaction to the lawsuit?
Well, we know that the families of the victims want to hold somebody accountable. And in the criminal case against Kohberger, there was no trial. Remember, he took a plea. So there's some argument that the families lost out on at least having their day in court, with Kohberger having to face the music in terms of going on trial. What happens here is the families are using the civil system, the civil judicial system, to go after almost a bigger institutional target, the university, saying that the university had so much notice that Kohberger was dangerous, that Kohberger should be watched, that Kohberger should have been kept under a tight rein, and they didn't do it. So the families are saying to the university, you had plenty of notice about this guy and you did nothing. And so now we're trying to hold you accountable. So what they may have lost out in a criminal trial, they're trying to gain in the civil courts. And you can understand the families of the victims wanting justice on that level.
To that point, I mean, what happened was just heartbreaking. And reading all 126 pages of this lawsuit, I mean, the details here of if these allegations are true of what WSU knew and when, I mean, it's just mind-boggling, especially because Kohberger worked in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. I mean, these people are criminologists. They, according to this suit, recognized this behavior and didn't really do much. And I want to talk about what stood out to me in this, what the allegations are, because it alleges that Kohberger was discussed in multiple faculty meetings. And one professor said this, quote, mark my words, I work with predators. If we give him a PhD, that's the guy that in that many years, when he is a professor, we will hear is harassing, stalking, and sexually abusing his students. Then, as early as September 2022, professors were talking about needing to stage an intervention with Kohberger. And around that time, one professor at least thought he was stalking people. That's obviously at the beginning of the semester. I mean, that happened pretty much almost immediately after he came onto campus. Kohberger's supervising instructor knew that women had uncomfortable interactions with Kohberger, and some female grad students felt unsafe around him. That's what the lawsuit alleges. Also, it talks about these tactics employees would use, including a bunch of them would stay in one room if Kohberger was one-on-one with a female colleague so that that woman wouldn't be alone with him. One employee set up this system where she told another employee, hey, email me 911 as the subject line of an email if Kohberger's making you feel weird. There were also complaints that he exhibited stalking behavior, and some female students and staff members were so creeped out by him that an escort system was put into place after 5 p.m. In some cases, professors and members of the WSU Police Department were the ones providing these escorts. So it really sounds like, according to this lawsuit, these weren't just one or two isolated incidents. Students and employees were creeped out by him, and employees and people who were above Kohberger knew about this behavior. I mean, what are your thoughts on the details here?
Yeah, Brittany, it's stunning.
Okay, you guys. That's it. It's over. It was that fast. So let me give you the lowdown. All they did was, so there's the female judge. I did not write down her name. It's on that website. I can look that up in a second. The plaintiffs for the Gonsalves family, the judge did not say their name the correct way, had 4 or 5 attorneys representing them. The defense had 1 attorney, a woman. Her last name is Jones. It was only a scheduling conference. So all the judge asked was about, originally it had been said that they were going to go for June of 2027. She pushed it out to a September trial. So this trial will not happen until September of 2027. She mentioned having many witnesses, the families having been gone through a lot, mostly the witnesses and discovery. So enough time to be able to get through all of the discovery process. So it was quick. It was just boom, 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 boom. So it'll be a September 2027 trial for, they're thinking right now 20 days. So they're thinking they will need 20 days. The plaintiffs for the families said that they're expecting, or because of the number of witnesses that are going to be called. So that's interesting. They're expecting a tremendous amount of witnesses and possible trouble seating a jury. It was 12 minutes long, Jen, Wisconsin. Kimberly Evanson, I think, right, Jen? 7? Yeah. Kimberly's not hard to remember. That's my first name. Something like that. I think it's Evanson. Where was I? Oh, they just said because of the popularity of the case, they have concerns that, not that they would have trouble seating a jury, but that it would take more time to seat a jury, right? The judge asked if, the plaintiffs for the families, they suggested, because they're going to be going through discovery now, right? Discovery deadlines and things like that. Suggested having a special judge, and they recommended a Judge Peterson, who's also a woman, to be only there to handle discovery issues. So they're going to have a special judge to rule on discovery. And this judge agreed to that. So she's going to let a special discovery judge handle those matters. They did note that this case may have, hey, Birdie, anybody want to take bets? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's take bets. Did you listen, Birdie? Do you want to come up for a minute? Let me know. You don't have to. I can drop you a link. What else? Yeah, discovery issues. Do you think? You think they're going to have discovery issues? Oh my gosh. What else? The discovery judge. Then the judge asked, "Are there any discovery disputes currently?" And they said no. So right now there's no discovery disputes. So that was it. That was all that they addressed. Yeah. Yep. Oh, you're at work. Oh, no worries. No worries. You were able to get in. Man, I had a hard time getting in. Like, they left off the last 2 digits of the phone number. I had to go over to Jules. Thank goodness she was graciously sharing with everybody how to actually get into the call. So that helped. That helped. Yeah. I'm saying no, this probably will not. I mean, hopefully something's going to happen, right? Hey, Bubbly. Hopefully something's going to happen with, what am I going to say? An appeal, right? An appeal, something more information. Like, I couldn't get over the documents that they just released. Like, oh, there's new documents, and they're not even really updates to things that have already been released. Like, some of them were like the forensic reports and things like that. And I was looking at them and I'm like, I really don't think there's anything here that we haven't seen before. So, hey, G Bean, has anyone tried to talk to BK's parents? I have not. I have not heard any creators, but I've seen people in the chat talking about it. If anybody wants to, feels free to share. I personally know somebody who was going to write a letter. Not me, but like very professional, kind of giving support and addressing like the current information that we know, like the questions we have and the issues with the case, right? Other creators have tried and there's no response. Thank you. Hey, Love and Other Habits. Yeah. In the book, Broken Plea, the last part, where is the only part I don't have many sticky notes, because I want to go. It's all about Bryan, the part that is all about Bryan at the end. I've listened to the audio version of it, but I haven't gone through like this part of the book. This part of the book, I have not like dug through for all the information, but there's a lot. There's quotes from Bryan's parents' interviews. His mother's reaction to their house getting raided and him getting arrested. Like, according to the book, they were very shocked, confused, denying, like, I know my son, he couldn't have done this. I talked to Carlos about that. I'm like, that because we have adult children, okay? And you go through things as a parent with your children, right? If you're listening, Birdie, prepare. I know you have new little ones on the way. You'll go through some things and you learn your kids, right? You know your kids, and you know if they're capable of things or what they're capable of and what they're not. Michelle, I know I question that too, especially with Mackenzie Sharilla's family coming out now, and they're giving all these interviews and talking about her case. And I thought, man, like, but I keep talking through it with, thinking about the Kohbergers, like, to me, they're probably thinking damned if you do, damned if you don't. You got to know their personalities. Like, look at Mackenzie Sharilla's family. Like, they're very out there. And would be more likely to be outspoken, right? They're very defensive. And I gotta shut my door real quick. Hold on 2 seconds. All right. I don't even know if they've sent it yet. Song of the Siren, if you're talking to me. Who was I saying? The Sharillas. Okay. I don't know BK's family. They've seemed private this whole time. If they've been described as super private, there are people who tend to just let things happen the way they happen. Like, to me, it's like a personality thing too, and a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. That's probably one of the ways they could be looking at it. Oh boy. I didn't say Mackenzie was in Idaho. I was just talking about her. She's in Ohio. She's from where I'm at. The wreck that happened is like 50 minutes away from me, and I thought about driving out there and getting some footage. I've been following. There are a lot of people now. It's from she was from Strongsville, Ohio. If any of you guys are on TikTok, Strongsville, Ohio. There are a lot of creators now that have come out on TikTok that are from Strongsville, and they're just sharing stories. They're like, I went to that high school, and either they went to high school when she was there, and they tell all these crazy stories. Like, there's some crazy stuff that has gone on in that town. Lana went to the jail today, to where Mackenzie Sharilla is. Oh my, yeah, because she's more down there in Southern Ohio. That's way far. That's probably like 4 hours from me. But where it happened is like 50 minutes from me. Yeah. All right. So WSU lawsuit was just, the hearing was just scheduling. So any of you that missed it, their trial is not set till September of 2027. They pushed it way out there. And think about that. Like, murder trials get pushed that far out. This is a lawsuit, a financial, right? They're suing them for money. It's a financial lawsuit, and they need that much time. I guess because it involves the murders, I guess. Yeah. All right. I want to finish looking back through this. And while I have this pulled up, Evanson. Kimberly K. Evanson was the judge that presided over the WSU hearing today. And then I want to go back. We were looking at what exactly are the complaints of the WSU lawsuit. And this is a huge document, so I am just going to skim through it. I'm pretty good at like skimming through and picking up important information. So where's the page? I had that. I'm glad that it was a quick hearing, because now I can make my family dinner. My family will be happy. If you guys weren't here earlier, I'm like, oh, this could be like an all-day thing. All right. So we have 2 complaints so far. The families are claiming that WSU had 13 complaints about Bryan Kohberger. And so they're going to have to prove that those complaints existed. And then the defense is going to have to prove, in my opinion, that they handled those complaints correctly. The second complaint is that they did not check his background. and like all the issues they're saying from his childhood with the drug addiction and the theft and the complaints and getting kicked out of one of his schools supposedly and all of that stuff. So the defense is going to have to come back and address that. So then they're going into all the issues at WSU, right? The police chief, the assistant chief, the captain all had to resign because of discipline. So they're going to bring in probably the culture at WSU, right? So that doesn't look good for them. Like they had major sexual assault issues going on with law enforcement and their students. That does not look good. And especially if they didn't handle that correctly. So they're claiming it was against the above described backdrop of WSU administrative inaction. So inaction. That's going to be what they're claiming. Like you could have stopped this from happening if you would have acted. So 2 out of 3 right now, I think are justifiable complaints. The background one, I don't know, maybe. Let's see. Then they're going into his electronic devices. They can't control that. His electronic devices, driving around. They're saying, despite having a formal threat assessment team, a now common practice at universities to proactively identify, assess, and manage individuals who may pose a risk of violence, WSU wholly failed to follow that process. They wouldn't know what's in his phone. They allowed his dangerous behaviors to escalate. They are not. This is crazy. They cannot control that. But they're claiming it. So they allowed his behaviors to escalate. Wow. So finally, they say, as a result of WSU's actions and failures, 4 young college students were brutally murdered. Wow, that's a leap. That's a leap. What do you guys think about that? Hey, Mike. I'm reading your comments. One person sent a book and it was sent back. Oh my goodness. Wow. I want to think that. I don't know. There is something so it's beyond weird about this case. So weird. Give me a break. Give me a break. Hi, Margaret. Meanie says, I really don't see how the G's think they'll win this case. They might get a settlement, but that's it. This is going to be a really hard one, in my opinion. And I think 2 things can be true. I think they can point out issues with WSU not following through with protocols that they should have. That can be true. They can prove that part of it. But is there going to be this cause and effect that they're trying to prove? does that cause Bryan to commit murders? Does that mean that they could have stopped him from committing a murder? To me, I don't think you can put that on. I don't think you can put that on anyone else except the person who committed the crimes. That's my opinion. You can let me know what you guys think about that. Inmates cannot get things from non-approved senders. Right. And remember, I know I keep going back to the Mackenzie Sharilla case, but it's just because they're talking and we get information from them. Mackenzie wanted books from her mom, and her mom said, her mom can't even send her a book. The books have to come right from like Barnes and Noble, right from the book company to the jail, to the prison. Hey, Jesse Locks. It was really just a scheduling hearing. They're going to set the trial for September of 2027. That's it. That's an interesting question if he's been I mean, I do think there is information out there. Like we have his written complaint supposedly from the jail. I'm sure, I don't know who has, but I'm sure people have. Okay, let me keep looking at this. So then they name the parties. So it's all four families. They've got the jurisdiction. They've got okay, here are the factual allegations. So they're going to allege that he stalked. I don't know how they're going to even come close to winning that one when Bill Thompson, the prosecutor, literally stood out in the public and said, there was no stalking. Right? Wasn't that about the whole survey when they asked that question? Okay, so they're saying that Bryan was exhibiting. Now, here's where they might have an issue. So you don't have to talk about stalking in the Idaho 4 case. This is my opinion. This is how I'm interpreting this. You don't have to prove that Bryan was stalking the victims. They have to prove that there were complaints at Washington State University that girls thought he was stalking them, and that they didn't handle it correctly. So that's going to go back up to those 13 complaints. So if there were stalking complaints. Again, if they prove this, I don't think that makes the leap to the murders, but I'm just going through. Okay, so that was stalking. And here's what they're saying WSU should have done. WSU, so they have policies and procedures to control conduct of harassment and stalking. That's true, because that's Title IX, I believe. WSU was obligated to control Kohberger under the requirements of its employment agreement with him in the confines of him working on their campus. They can only control what's happening at their school. And I guess they're going to say, if they would have done that, like I said earlier to start this, would he have been kicked out of school? Would he have gone back to Pennsylvania? I mean, they're going to try to make this, if WSU would have done these things, then Bryan wouldn't have been around here anymore to have this be possible. I don't know. WSU was obligated to control Kohberger under the requirements of its graduate school policies and procedures manual. Oh, and then they put the whole manual there. Oh my gosh, you guys. Hopefully we'll get some discovery out of this, right? Because remember, we saw, if you guys were here for my Christopher O'Flaherty, Caden Young episode I did with the interview of Christopher O'Flaherty in Washington, we got to see the whole body cam footage. They didn't really redact anything, maybe an address, something like that. I think Washington is going to be better about not having redactions. But it's a federal case, so I don't know. I hope we have access to see things. Oh, Bubbly, I'm so glad you're here. And I don't know if Birdie's still listening, but do you guys remember way at the beginning of this case? Well, it would have been after Bryan was arrested, and everybody was trying to find out like who he was and, who knew him. And I thought it was someone from like the BBC broadcasting agency or maybe someone from Australia. It was like overseas. And they supposedly interviewed, I don't think I ever saw the actual interview. I just heard people talking about it. They supposedly interviewed I don't even know if it was the actual girl, but someone who said that Bryan was dating somebody or hanging out with somebody that lived right by the house in Moscow. And then that's why he would be in the area, because he was talking to somebody over there. Do you guys ever remember that? This is just an alleged rumor, you guys. But I swear it was like the BBC or something. Hey, Halls. Good to see you. Rishkas, hello. Hi, Terry Dawn. Hey, Lavs. It was his sister that said that? Do you have a video about that, Bubbly? Mary Holt's got a question. Is it in the manual that BK could be controlled off campus or in other states? I know. That's what I mean. It's going to be a leap. You guys don't remember that. Okay. Well, I'll have to search for that. It's me, Lady T66. Was there a lawsuit against the colleges that educated Ted Bundy? Right. That's a good one. Yeah, the Asian girl a lot. Yeah. That makes me think of Kayla Wynn. I know she's like Vietnamese or something, I think. Not sure. Lucy, do you remember that? Lucy's laughing at me. Tell me you remember, Lucy. Tell me you remember. Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, it's, how some of these things that were said way early on, sometimes we stumble upon something now that's like in an interview or in the book. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. Or that sounds like that thing we used to know. Mike. Jasmine's best friend. Oh, I don't know a lot about Jasmine. Quit yelling at me. You guys. Now everybody's yelling. Go ahead. Put your monster screamers in the chat. Okay, so then they're going to say that so their handbook, they went against their handbook policies for grad students, and it's going to be things like his attendance, right? There's a lot of statements in here about and a lot of witnesses, his cohorts that were in his program with him, they complain about him not showing up. And that's in the handbook. So things like that. And if they did not give him the consequences he was supposed to have for that, then that's going to be a point for, to me, the prosecutor, I would say the complainants, the families, they could win a lot of these issues. But again, I keep saying, I don't feel like they'd win the whole case. They would only win the point that, you sucked at controlling a member of your staff. right? You're horrible at following procedures and protocols. Like that's all they're going to win in this case, in my opinion. I don't ever think someone would make the leap that they caused these murders to happen or are responsible for these murders for happening. So then they're saying that there's something broader than Title IX, EP 15. Conduct that does not technically violate Title IX can still violate EP 15. I don't know what that is. I'm sure they say it in here, but they're trying to go at this to make sure that it's executive policy. So probably just another school policy. There's also like I'm in Ohio, we have the Ohio Revised Code. You have to, when you're in a school system or a university, you have to follow those laws. So, and those are the laws, and then your school system has to write policies that follow those. I know all about this because I got my administrator's degree. All right, so this is all about what they should have controlled. Then they're going into risk factors. Jeez. I know I'm scrolling fast, but it's 126 pages. I'm just trying to get the gist of everything. Now it's talking about the risk of somebody. Waiver 21, whatever this is another thing. So they're saying they have waiver 21 instructs that after an individual is determined to present a risk of violence, a threat assessment team should determine what steps can be taken to manage the subject's risk for violence. They might have a hard time with this one. I think what they're saying is all the behaviors that should be documented about Bryan at WSU would be put into this waiver 21 is probably like an assessment thing, or no, it's a rule saying that you should use an assessment. Their assessment team should have done a risk management. WSU was obliged to control Kohberger under the terms of WSU's family and graduate apartment agreement. Wow. What did he do at his apartment? Because he had free Wi-Fi? Because WSU gave him free Wi-Fi in his apartment. They're responsible for his behavior. That's nuts. That's nuts. That's crazy. Kohberger had agreed and abide by the network service agreement for the internet. Well, they're going to have to prove a lot of this. If he had, if he actually did have this kind of stuff on his phone that they're claiming, then they better show it. When Kohberger arrived at WSU in the fall of 2022, the WSU Police Department was consumed by a university investigation into its own long and sordid history of tolerating and, in fact, fostering serious sexual misconduct in its own right. The WSU's police department is going to get slaughtered reputationally in this lawsuit. Don't you guys think? Don't you think? Oh, Jeff, you're coming with the sarcasm. We shouldn't be as harsh on him as we were on Dylan. I just want to see, like I just said, like they're claiming he had all this like nefarious stuff on his phone. Like, we're hoping that this will be the lawsuit that will show us all that stuff. Remember the WSU student transferred to Washington from Canada? What? Oh. They took no responsibility. Well, again, the responsibility has to come in the form of there's a complaint and you handle a complaint, or there's an event, a crime, and you handle the crime. If you don't handle the crime, if you don't handle the complaint, then you're culpable. Then you're responsible. I mean, if someone would have called Washington State Police or Pullman Police Department and said, hey, my neighbor, Bryan Kohberger, is on his way to Moscow right now to commit a quadruple homicide, and WSU didn't do anything, then this lawsuit would be for sure responsible. Then they would be responsible. But this other stuff is like, it's right now it's seeming like predictive. How are you supposed to predict? Yeah. All right, let me see what else they got in here. Oh, they're still raging. Oh my gosh, you guys, look. They are raging on the police department. Hansen steps down as WSU police chief. Oh my God. Federal education officials fined WSU $82,500 over a separate campus safety incident that occurred in 2007 involving multiple sexual assaults. Woo. This isn't going to look good. This is not going to look good. Federal education officials completed an investigation of WSU's campus safety statistics and determined that WSU had not properly reported 2 sexual assaults in violation of the Clery Act. Okay, I get all this, and it's bad optics, like it makes them look really bad, but is it connected to Bryan Kohberger? They would have to, the same thing would have had to have happened with Bryan. Someone would have, he would have had to have assaulted somebody and they didn't do anything about it, things like that. They have to have evidence that he was actively stalking somebody and they didn't do anything about it. Oh, they got the spokesman review. The investigation revealed that in December 2020, a WSU police officer notified WSU Police Department command staff that they learned of possible non-consensual sexual activity between another WSU police officer and a victim. Oh my God, this was so bad. Wow. All right, how many pages they got about this? Most of this file so far is about WSU. I mean, the Pullman police, WSU police. Now they're back to Kohberger. So now they're going to go back to Kohberger and say, oh, they're pulling all of his quotes off the internet that he wrote about himself with like his mental health and stuff like that. And all the evidence they have about him getting kicked out of a what are those schools called when you go for like a trade school, vocational school? All right, so they're bringing all that into it. Oh, here's interesting. For over 50 years, here's what we were talking about earlier, you guys. Was there a connection with, like the book says, possible connection with Bethany and WSU. It's on page 218 of the book. So this says, for over 50 years, WSU and the University of Idaho have cooperated on sharing academic resources and have enriched educational opportunities through the sharing of faculty, facilities, and ideas. WSU and the University of Idaho allow students at each school to take courses at the other school. WSU and the University of Idaho have cooperative programs and cross-listed courses. You guys, if I was in college, like when I was in college, I liked to have late afternoon, early evening classes, right? I wanted to sleep in, but yet I wanted to be out so that I could, enjoy anything, activities that might be going on at nighttime. Classes would fill up. If classes fill up in like time slots that you prefer, and you could go to the other university and get the time slot you need, I bet this happens a lot. I bet it would, if you had a way to get there, right? And I haven't heard about campus transportation. They don't have that out there. Because I went to Kent State University and we had a whole campus. Ours was it's a sprawling campus. It's a huge campus. But we had a bus service and it would take you to like local towns. And it was on a schedule and it would take you all around campus because I would know what time that bus was going to be outside my dorm. And I'd go running out there, wait, and jump on the bus. And it would take me to the other side of the campus, especially in the wintertime. I'm surprised just private drivers that don't charge them. I know, but I'm surprised because Idaho has pretty brutal winters, don't they, or not? Like in Cleveland State University, it's a inner city, downtown university, concrete university, and it's very compact. So they don't have like a busing. They have the Cleveland public transit. But they have tunnels, walkways. So you never have to go outside. You can walk from one building to another by going through a skyway. So you would think they would have something. And I just ask that because that would make it easier for the kids to get from, one school to the next if they have a class. Yeah, a lot of campuses have that. And then it's the students who drive those buses. It's a job. It's a university job for the students to have. Hey, everybody that has come on in. Hi, Brian Todd. Hi, Lindsay's eyes. No, Lindsay sees. Hello. Make sure you hit that like button for me on your way in. I appreciate it. Were the complaints only made by women who were failing his class? That's a great question, Sherry Basalto. Hello. You better believe that the defense, WSU, is going to look at that. That would be good data for them to have. Couch's program gave 3 free rides a month to sorority girls. It folded quickly due to lack of drivers. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's verified there that we do know that they do things at both schools. What does this say? The WSU Criminal Justice and Criminology program also offers a study abroad program to University of Idaho students that it also promotes on its websites. Huh. Yeah, it's study abroad, not study aboard, you guys. I want to look into the U of I criminal justice program. Yeah, who was in the U of I criminal justice program, and did any of them go over to WSU because they had better offerings, a better lab, a better whatever? What are they talking about Whitcomb for? Oh, they're just talking about, so now they're just talking about the two regions sharing everything. Oh, now they're going to bring up the pool party, you guys. Who was at the pool party? He acted weird at the pool party. If there wasn't a police report made about that, then I don't see how, and that's at a public place. That's not WSU's, unless there was something like legally, if he had a legal charge. I don't think it's saying there was anything. Like, did the girl file charges? I don't think so. Oh, there's the possible future rapist comment. Oh my God. You guys, okay, so this says one fellow WSU graduate student reported that based on how Kohberger talks to and treats women, people in the WSU criminal justice program thought that he was a possible future rapist. Okay. They're going to call that person to the stand and ask if this is like a true statement. That's crazy. During the second or third week of the semester, a female WSU graduate student hosted the whole graduate cohort at her apartment to watch a ball game. Kohberger attended the event. Afterward, Kohberger began telling others about prescriptions that she took, leading the graduate student to suspect that he had looked through her medicine cabinet while attending the event at her apartment. I mean, I think there's I don't do that, but that's like a sitcom show standard thing, right? That people do that. I don't know. That's crazy. All right, so then they're just going in. They're going to have all these people from WSU come testify about all the weird things that he did. The running tally on the board. Let me get to the bottom of this. And now they're getting into the timeline. Steve Martin in Father of the Bride. Yeah, how many movies is there a scene like that where somebody goes through the bathroom cabinets? Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Lucy's gonna have a Gonsalves tally board. Oh, we could have a lot of tally boards. I have a coincidence. I'm gonna have a coincidence tally board. How many coincidences are there in this? Lucy. Was she really? Because Lucy, I don't know if you have the book, or did you have the book? Did you read the book? On page 118, was it 118? 218, I apologize. 218. The author is saying that Bethany had a possible connection to Washington State, the town of Pullman, or any of Kohberger's known associates. But wait, no, I'm getting her confused. Emily was the dental student. So Josie, she graduated, right? I wonder what kind of job she has. Does she have a law enforcement job or something like that? Oh man. Josie's on a vacation far away in the criminal justice program. She was hopping that bus on over to allegations being funny. Just, this is not true about her going over to WSU, but you knew it was Josie or Jenna. Wellington Oda, hello. Oh my gosh. Do you think that's why her whole interview is redacted? Cinderella, Ella. Thank you. Is that hearsay or actually investigated and confirmed? So, Lucy, where did you find out about that with Josie? That's a good question. We always want to confirm things over here. I haven't personally seen it in a document yet, but I haven't read every single word that's out there in the documents. Yes. Hey, a new member. Welcome. Yes, she was. So was a couple of frat boys in Sigma Chi, Sydney Ferris, Riley Moreland, Sydney Sterling, other corner club bartender, all grads of law, and Addison too. Interesting. Welcome, new member. Wellington Oda, put some peeps in the chat, you guys. Whoops. Welcome to the green team. We're the peeps over here.
I appreciate you. Thank 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 you for the support. Thank you. Thank you.
And that thank you goes out to everybody that helped contribute to the goal today. And oh my goodness, look at that. Not only did Wellington Oda become a member, but gifted 5 more. Thank you so much. Brian Todd's dapping away in there in the chat. Thank you. Let's see who got those. Let me see. Am I down here? There we go. We've got Cinderella, Ella. Awesome. Sherry Basalto, Mary Holt, Rochelle Fiscus, and Shits and Giggles. Haven't seen that name in here in a while. Miss them. Welcome, unique peeps. All right, I'm just going to skip down to the end of this. Let's see. Oh, wait, no, this might tell us something. Around September or October 2022, a fellow WSU graduate teaching assistant was asked to monitor Kohberger's behavior because others at WSU wanted to track it. Wait a minute. You can't ask a colleague, a WSU graduate teaching assistant. Bryan is a graduate teaching assistant. You can't like pit two. That's like asking one teacher to monitor another teacher. You can't do that. It has to be someone who's a supervisor over you. That's so wrong. That's just like pitting people against each other. The teaching assistant was instructed to, can you guys believe this? To write down anything she saw and notify that's like a spy. So they had a spy. It was discussed that WSU could not give Kohberger a PhD and the resulting authority that could give him out of concern over his inappropriate behavior. And the resulting authority that could give him out of That's so weird. That's so wrong. Oh, wait, Lucy's giving me Josie page 1. Oh, I don't think I can I can't copy that, Lucy. How am I gonna let me see. Let me see if this will work. I can't copy it from the chat to get to that page. I don't need it right now, Lucy. Would you mind putting that in Discord for me so I can find it later? Or just tell us what doc it is. What doc is it? WSU had their own CIs. Oh my gosh. Josie, page 1. Oh my goodness. All right. And then it's just going into more incidences. On November 2nd, 2022, WSU put Kohberger on a brief, vague, and non-specific 4-point improvement plan due to his inappropriate behavior, but that plan set no specific goals. Oh my gosh. I know what these improvement plans look like. Because teachers have unions and the union had to be part of like coming up with these because teachers have to get evaluated. And if you don't meet the evaluation criteria, you get put on an improvement plan. And yeah, you have to have goals and you have to have let's see what this says. Here's his improvement plan. Meet weekly. I'll make it bigger for you guys. Here's Bryan's improvement plan. Meet weekly with supervisor at established meeting time. Keep track of weekly hours and provide report to supervisor. Establish weekly goals with supervisor and discuss whether previous week's goals were met during each weekly meeting. Okay, so they're going to need to produce those goals or they're not, or the plaintiffs are going to say you didn't follow this improvement plan. Make sure weekly goals are progressively harder to ensure progress throughout the rest of the semester. Yeah. So this is how an improvement plan is supposed to go. This is not an improvement plan. Like there should be like a chart of like, here's the goal, here's when we met, and then like, here's like notes on like how he's doing, like satisfactory, unsatisfactory, things like that. That's crazy. All right. I think that's a good place to stop for now with his improvement plan. Wow. All right, guys. So I got the gist of the lawsuit. I will go skim back through it. Hey, Dago. How you doing? I'll just skim through the end of it and see if there is anything interesting, and I'll report back to you when I come back on. So if I am not live tomorrow, be expecting videos from me tomorrow. Okay. I'm up in the air. So I may still come on live. It depends on how much real life stuff I get done. Any of you in the Midwest understand, like, as soon as warm weather hits, like it just hit like this week, we're all outside, like, pulling weeds and laying mulch and planting flowers and, oh, we got to mow the lawn again and doing all the outside stuff, and then still trying to get the inside. Like, it's a major overhaul. You got to pull out all your, summer chairs and all that stuff. Real life stuff. Yeah, real life stuff. And don't forget to do the dishes and laundry and dinner. You've been getting your pool stuff out. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot of work. I mean, for 4 months, right? And then we put it all away again. I'm so jealous of people that live in like a stable, steady climate that, like, you don't have to have like half of your year like buried under snow, and then the like 4 months is like, oh, nice weather. Yeah, I bought a daisy plant. I love daisies. I've got like 3 different kinds of daisy plants around my house. I bought a sunflower. I bought I don't know what they're called. It's like a phlox, but it's vertical. It's not the kind that's like ground cover. It grows up and they attract hummingbirds. I had them a couple of years ago. I had them for a couple of years, and I had them in pots, and they're supposed to come back every year, and they're not coming back. So I bought new ones to put in the ground. Oh, bring Ophelia, my goose, in. I have a porch goose, you guys. Let me know in the chat if any of the rest of you have a porch goose. She's currently on the porch celebrating our nice weather in her bikini with an inner tube and goggles on her face. So that's what she's wearing right now. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I told you guys at the beginning of the show that I have 3 ideas for videos that I want to make. So I'll be doing that. And I'm on this hunt with a connection with Bethany. Still working on timelines. I think Hunter and Emily are going to be next. Hunter and Emily's timelines. That's going to be a good one. I had a porch goose. Wind took it and broke her neck. Oh my goodness. That's horrible. Mine's plastic, and I just put sand in the bottom of her. Yeah. I know. We're all busy, right? We're all busy, and we just have to like plan ahead, but I feel bad when I want to be here. But I'm like, okay, I have responsibilities. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me for this WSU lawsuit information. It was great going over what's actually in the lawsuit. I listened to the hearing today, gave you the update, what it was about, trial coming, if it comes at all. If we get there, September of 2027. Thanks, Wellington. Oda, appreciate that. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will be seeing you soon, I'm sure. I always listen to Dago, even when I'm doing chores around the house. So I'll see you guys over there on his channel, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Have a great day. Do something nice for yourself. Get out in the sunshine if you can. And we're clocking out for now. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep, we crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.